Good morning, Western Slope. Happy Monday. I'm Dalen Brazelton. Let's talk about your weather. Folks, we're waking up to some showers across the Western Slope today as a low pressure system slowly works its way across the Centennial State. And this is what we are left with on America's Mattress Live Tower Cam. It's going to be a beautiful start to the day. I've got a feeling that this sunrise is going to be one heck of a sunrise. So let's stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we can talk about what you can expect for this week, starting with, of course, the showers that we saw overnight, returning to those averages as far as the temperatures are concerned. And yes, we are seeing some snow up on Powderhorn right at this moment. So let's talk about what we've been seeing before we cover what we're going to see. The satellite and radar is indicating a lot of rain and, yes, snowfall in those elevations above 9,000 feet. So the Grand Mesa is seeing a fair amount of that right now, while the lower elevations are dominated by those rain showers. On top of that, we're seeing winter weather advisories being issued for a couple different areas across western Colorado. Of course, the San Juans, the Grand Mesa, and some of those more northern mountains are seeing some of those winter weather advisories. The ones in Mesa County are set to expire at 5 p.m. for tonight. So we are seeing it kind of push through the day a little bit, but nothing really expected to affect the valley regions, nor are we expected to see any of that kind of effect the Uncompahgre as we head a little bit closer to Montrose. Right now, we're waking up to 42 degrees in Grand Junction. Low 40s as well for Delta, Nucla, and Montrose, with Paonia and Glade Park hanging out in those 30s to kick things off, but we are getting a little bit further away from those freezing conditions as we kind of kick off the week. We're expected to kind of return to those a little bit later in the week. For that classroom forecast, that first bell's ringing to 38 degrees and mostly cloudy conditions. Now, as those showers kind of start to push out of the region a little bit, we're going to start to see those clouds let up just a little bit, as well as the highs be much cooler compared to last week. We were approaching close to 70 degrees last week in those highs, and now we're only getting up to those mid to low 50s, and that's kind of where we should be for this time of year. We're going to start to see that slowly increase throughout the day. We're 50 degrees, heading our way around noon, and then pushing into those mid to lows for the rest of the day. Now, from here on out for the rest of the year, all of these sunsets are going to be before 5 p.m., so losing a fair amount of daylight here, folks. Meanwhile, the morning hours shaping up to be nice, kind of hanging out a little bit below 40 degrees to kick things off. For that Cozy Cat forecast, we got Teeny and Boo Boo hanging out with us this week, and it's of course going to be a beautiful one to stay inside and hang out with your cat a little bit longer today, because these rainy conditions, they are setting up for some cozy ones to be sure. 37 degrees at 7 a.m. and then really starting to dry up after the fact, with those breezes staying nice and consistent as well. A little bit of cloud coverage in the afternoon, but things kind of shaping up to calm down as a whole for the day. Overall, though, we're starting to see this kind of track across the Rockies as that upper level system continues to push more so into the Front Range. Southeast Colorado, we're going to be seeing a fair amount of that as well. But folks, let's talk about it right now. Powderhorn seeing a fair amount of snow, blowing snow, in fact, that it has kind of knocked the camera around a little bit. But we are seeing a fair amount of that kind of building up in the mountains for today. Going to be a beautiful morning for that. And of course, only around the corner, we're going to start seeing those ski lodges really begin to open up. Over the next several days, we're expected to see a little bit more of that snow kind of continue to drop off into the region. The Sierra Nevada is seeing a fair amount of that, as well as we head into those northern mountains. That's kind of where the main concentration is going to be. So that's what you can kind of expect for the snowfall. As we take a look ahead at that Discovery Auto Group 7-day forecast, mid to low 50s expected for a majority of the week. And then the tail end, well, folks, we're finally getting below those averages, as well as those freezing temperatures as well. Going to be beautiful for the Grand Valley. Montrose, slightly cooler, seeing those lower 50s, getting into the 40s a little bit earlier, and then below freezing happening for tonight. Tomorrow, barely getting out of it, but for the rest of that, it's going to be a cold one down at the Uncompahgre.